And this is exactly how these podcasts start.
They do.
You know, so
So staying in the room, you are consenting to be recorded.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
show
Yes,
me this
Randy, you
again.
want that.
Okay.
And Randy, welcome. You know,
Okay.
Greg, we're welcoming Randy Emberlin to the podcast. And
Yes.
Randy, that was a perfect way to start this podcast because this is generally how
It is.
Yep, show me that again.
we just walk right in.
What's the name of this show?
Funny
What's
Book
the name of this
Forensics.
darn show?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah, okay. There you go. The dead comic books.
Exactly.
We're studying dead
Yes.
comic.
That's why Greg has. If Greg holds up his shirt, it says "I press the button" because that's his
Oh.
contribution. It used to be his contribution to the show. Or click
I
the
clicked
button.
the button. Yes. Well, I mean, I still have a button to click.
Back
or two.
Back when
I mean,
we recorded
yeah.
in something you know well, I bet we used to record in Audacity.
Oh yeah.
And so
Really? That's
Yeah.
very odd. You have a lot of
Yeah.
audacity to bring that up.
like well,
Takes a
we'd
lot
be
for
like
them
we'd be on a different stream, right? But we'd be recording on our own computers, and then I'd have to remind him to click the button every time, right? So we could start at the same time and everything.
and stop.
'Cause-
I only had to do that a few times. You know, that was the horse and buggy days or something. You know.
well, I figured with music you'd used Audacity at some point.
Oh yeah, yeah, and music, yeah, that's true. But you know, I'm just getting back into using electronics. I mean, I'm pretty much an acoustic. Well, I'm an electric guitar player for jazz, but you know, I mean, that's just an amp and me. And sometimes I'm playing with the computer, you know, to learn standards and stuff. But you're right. But I'm starting to do composing, so I've got electronics gear and starting to do more. And there's so many programs and there's so many
Oh,
ways
yeah.
to do it. And I just want to do some simple double tracking, you know. Do some, you know, chords and maybe some long tones and then
Get
play over the
yourself
top
down
of
on
that.
a track
you know,
and then let it go. Yeah. And come
Yeah.
back.
and it's like I still spend a lot of time learning standards, jazz standards, you know, that are like Tin Pan Alley or, I mean, those are the best for understanding chords and the cycle and all of that kind of stuff and melodies. I mean, those guys are brilliant.
Yeah.
And they're difficult, but I'm appreciating more about going. I mean, I love Ralph Towner. He's like, you know, born in Washington, went to University of Oregon and just passed away. He was amazing in Oregon, but just take a few chords that have a lot of color and beauty and then get something going with that rhythmically and then find a melody that goes over it or just start playing over it, even if you loop it and you can go out into the cosmos, you know, it's like, you know, it's fantastic.
Do you ever
That's
use
where I wanna
pedals
be.
when you're playing? Like to get those loops?
Yeah, not too much, but you know, it's like you know, there's like I don't know, delays and some other things, but yeah, I would like to do that for live performance looping. That's a good way to do that and have a couple of different guitars, but I don't do a lot with the pedals, you know, yet. Like I said, I'm pretty standard, straight up guitar guy. Although I may do a synthesizer sound on the guitar, you know, like a flute or a
That's
trumpet
cool.
or something like that, and just to, you know, carry that through. But yeah, I'm more interested in just, you know, playing over something that I've created or just hearing some new sounds and going, yeah, this is a great group of chords. Let's cycle this and
Yeah.
see what comes out of it. You know,
I like it.
so it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I spent 50 years to get here. So it's like, you know, I better be doing something by now.
I think it's
You know,
interesting too because you picked you chose a year of comics for us to review, kind of, and then we picked something from that
Basically, yeah.
year, and you were looking at 1986, and when you talk, you know, it's funny when you talk about the music discussion bringing this in. 1986 was a pivotal moment for comics in a lot of ways, especially at the main two. And it's because, you know, the indie influence had started, right? You had First had come on the board with a bunch of books, right? And you're working for
Who's
First.
working for
Yeah,
First.
yeah.
I got
And
for them. Yeah.
and what was it? First and Dark Horse, right? And
That's right. Dark Horse Big 86 was when they
And-
were born. Well, I mean, technically, you know, Boris was around before that, but I helped start, you know, the Dark Horse Presents thing, you know, with Chris Warner and those guys, Ron Randall, and
Eclipse
everything,
too, right?
when we launched those.
And Eclipse.
I never got to work for that. Ron did. I never worked for Eclipse. I do have a hat and sunglasses and a T-shirt and stuff from Eclipse, but no.
And
I
some
didn't
random guys
actually work
drawing
for 'em.
turtles.
Yeah, that was a real weird. I mean, that you can get into that story. It's like Jim Smith turned into my assistant, the guy who did Boris the Bear, and he was really a good assistant. He was great. He would drive all the way from Seaside into Portland with pages, and then and I mean, he was a hard worker. I just felt so bad for Jim because he had that opportunity, where Columbia came to Dark Horse first, and then when he and Mike couldn't get along and make a decision, they went to the Turtles. And of course, the rest is history. Those guys are millionaires. So, I mean, even if Jim had had like a short animated TV series of Boris, he would have been sad.
Yeah.
And probably kicking himself all the way. It was like,
It's interesting too, because you had those, and there's so many influences, like kind of moving in. And Portland was a huge scene. Of course, Mike had John Sable, right? Mike Grell. Yeah, he's kind of good.
Yeah. Was he doing that for? Was he doing that for?
Was that?
Well, we
I
just
think
said
American Flag wasn't. Jenkins' American Flag was it first?
I did American Flag. Yeah. I took over because we were handpicked by Chaykin.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I don't know how that.
I'm looking behind me, which is super professional for the podcast.
Well, what's cool? It's very impressive.
He does it quite often.
I was gonna see if my Sable omnibus had the actual original author. Or...
Is he still kicking?
Yeah.
I think he's still alive, isn't he? Like, no, I don't think he's but I think
he was
he's
not
still alive,
doing great for a while. And
okay,
I don't see it says comics, but that can't be right. That must be for this book.
He didn't do it for Eclipse. I think it was first. I think he did first before I was there.
I just remember in like 84. It was like, yeah. So I'm gonna make Randy feel old. So I was 9, and I got to buy. I got to buy one book a month, right? So I got one Legion. I got one Legion Superheroes book.
Wow. So is this because your parents were mean?
Well, actually, I didn't even get one book a month yet. We just don't have any money. But yeah, it was. Money. And I think. So we were camping, and my mom got me that key. We were just starting to talk about it before the podcast. Keith Giffen's art on Legion of Superheroes, and obviously later Ambush Bug, and around the same time Omega Men, right, and the different things. And my mom picked up the Legion of Superheroes number 306 with Starboy on the cover, with just his costume that Keith drew.
Which you mentioned many times.
She thought it was Legends of the Superheroes. She didn't read closely, and it was a spotlight on, so it was like the whole history of the character. So I read this, and it was awesome because I think Kurt Swan drew in the book too to do the. I'm pretty sure Kurt Swan, and if not, Keith did his best Kurt Swan possible. And so you had the Silver Age panels with the origin of the character, and then the character evolves. And I'm like, who is this? Little 9-year-old me is like, who is this? Like, who are all these people? I might have been 8. Like, what is going on? And then I was hooked forever. And of course, I pulled this out because you brought this to my house.
6.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 70. So you were born in
74.
Like 70.
Yeah.
What?
And Randy and Judy brought this to my house.
Oh, yeah. And that you had somebody do that for you there.
Because Dan Jurgens was some of my early, because I, off the newsstand, a couple of years later, when Legion went direct sale only, so in 84, Teen Titans goes direct sale only, Legion. We've talked about this on the podcast a lot and what good and bad that did for the business. But
well, the direct sales, it saved places like Dark Horse. I mean, all his stores, went with the direct sale, and it was such a good thing. Mike had 4 stores, and they were called Pegasus Books, and then he changed it to Things from Another World. But those stores, wow, that was cracking business, man. Black and whites were killing it in the 85, 86, 87. I mean, they were making a bunch of money, and that's what really launched Dark Horse was, Boris was selling 75,000 as a black and white. So
Yeah.
that's
When in
makes some dough.
1985,
you know?
I don't know if you remember the store up here, but 85, 86, 87, that era, my dad would drive me once a month from Puyallup to Tacoma to Lakewood to go to O'Leary's Books. Yeah. And
I heard of
I
O'Leary's.
still even have some bags with their price stickers on them in the collection. And I would save up my money over the summer picking berries or then working for my
Oh.
dad at his wood shop. And then I would buy extra comics with them. And I would scour those back issues.
Absolutely.
And of course, when you're only reading one book, then scouring the back issues for Legion was an adventure, pun intended, because I found out they were in adventure comics, right, as a kid. And then,
Of course, yeah.
kind of piecing together things and that's how it was my glimpse into comics. You had a very different view at that time.
I mean, on my experience when I was 9 or 8 or even 7, I mean, I started reading at age 4. I was reading DC, and then my first comic was a Space Ranger comic book, and I still have it, and it's just shredded. I mean, it's got ink lines, it's got stuff cut out, it's got holes, but the cover's still there, and I love that comic book, and I still have it. But I loved all of the artwork already at age 4, 5, 6, and then I met Chris Warner at 6 years old in first grade and found out he could draw better than I could. And then, the few of us were drawing in second grade, we were drawing all kinds of Batman and superheroes and stuff. And, we were reading, Justice League, and we loved Carmen Infantino's Flash and Gil Kane's, Green Lantern and the Justice League. Batman was kind of, lame. He was still kind of lame back then. It's like Superman, I never could get into. It's like, give me the powers.
Too powerful. This guy's too powerful.
Well, they were gonna cancel Detective Comics for a second in the implosion, and people don't know that. We've talked about it on the podcast before, but I think people don't believe me when I say that. But even though I read it, I grabbed it. Two Morrows did a whole book on the DC implosion, and they say it right in the book. People still don't believe me. It's named after Detective Comics, and that's why it saved it, because they're like, we're literally named after that.
When was that? What year
78.
was that implosion thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. For me, it's like the 60s were it. And even up until maybe 72, when did Kirby left DC or left Marvel for DC about that time?
Yep.
I forget. Is
Yeah,
that right? 72,
yep.
73. Anyway, I went to San Diego Con for the first time that year that Kirby switched to DC. And it was unbelievable. I mean, my parents let me go. I was 16 on the bus, 22-hour bus ride. And I took this giant painting that I had done in high school, acrylic painting of like a Conan. It was like Conan fighting this Yeti monster. And I ripped off Frazetta's, big mountains. He had a similar painting. It was these big, gorgeous, Himalayas and stuff. And it was actually a pretty good painting. I mean, it's like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, I did that. Wow. And everybody was trying to paint. Dave Stevens was my friend, right? This guy could paint when he was in high school, like most people paint as adults, he's like amazing. But anyway, I took that thing all the way down there, and it almost sold, and it didn't sell, and I had to bring it all the way home, box it. It was big. But the point is that Kirby was there, and it was like no other convention ever, because it was held at the campus of a college, right there in, what is it? Or the White Sand Beaches, and it's north of San Diego. What is the name of that famous little area? It's where the guys from Image had their offices.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of it. It's like Scripps type campus, or there's like those 3 colleges, Regents and Scripps or whatever. Anyway, we were there. Nice dorms. They had big open courtyards. They had a place to show movies all night, and you could get sandwiches out of a machine, and and then there was, of course, a theater where people gave presentations. But Kirby was outside doing chalk talks and ripping off drawings and giving them away. And then he gave away all these portfolios that were like filled with his characters, free. And I still have those. I say, it's like, and some of them he never really used. But, there was a couple of them in there. I've seen it written up. But yeah, there's probably like 8, pieces in a folder. I mean, and just giving this stuff away. And so it was like unbelievable. And he's so positive. He's just the nicest person, most positive guy. And it was so exciting for all of us. Whatever friends, I don't know who came besides me. Could have been one of my friends from high school. I can't remember. But the next year is when they had the inking competition, and it was Orion. So things had already been happening with the New Gods. And Chris Warner, we all inked it. It was like a big 11 by 17 on some crappy paper. But, Dave Stevens inked it. He's probably the best inker. And I inked it, and Chris inked it, and a bunch of guys that became artists. A lot of us became artists. We inked it. Chris won and got to have breakfast with Jack Kirby. And that was life-changing. It was. I mean, he brought his sketchbooks to see, and Kirby looked at him. He said all these guys like Chaikin and they were, were just dissing him. Just like, but you're just a kid. You did. It's like Chris is getting depressed. And then after Kirby looked at it, it was like this big shot in the arm of adrenaline, because he was like, yeah, you have real potential. And he did. You look at Chris's inks, and they were as professional as most guys. He could handle a brush like anybody, Anyway, and had great ideas. Kirby was great, and he just praised him and gave him a lot of positive energy. And I just thought that is just such a tribute to the guy he was a great role model. The end. He was. And not only that, he didn't have to have an ego, because he did everything, It's like, I did it all, So yeah, that was a really fun experience. It was one of the it was, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. Those 2 years were amazing. Back to whatever we were talking about.
That's just my, if on this podcast we talk about something we want to, and then we talk about other stuff we want to, it's free flowing. It's not a big deal. And that's the fun of it. So
yeah,
we don't have to talk totally about the Dark Knight. You said pick a comic, and in looking at it, it's not the comic that I totally remember. I mean, he's using like, what is he doing? 16 panel pages on a lot of these.
It's wild.
Unbelievable. And it's like where the captions are like, they have me confused. And I'm a comic book reader. It's like I'm reading them up here, and then I think they go down here, and it's like, I can't tell you how many times I got off and I was reading the caption. It's like, this is not good. It's like, it should have been more encapsulated. And when we taught comic books in our camps, we would do some of the stuff where it's like, have a panel, then you can have an open panel in between two closed panels, because that keeps it separate and you've got that space. But when you have open panel, open panel, open panel, it's a free for all. It's like, you never know, what's going to happen there. So yeah, I mean, there's great stuff in there. But like I said, for me, it was all about Klaus Janson, because I was going to be an anchor in comics. I had just got my job in 85, and this came out in 86, and it was just like, it's like everything is exciting. And I think I went to San Diego that year. It's possible. It's just well, I guess I was a nobody, so I don't know if I had anything. I may have. That was in the old convention, or no, it wasn't it used to be in the U.S. Grant, and then it went to the convention center. And I think the convention center was the first time I was there as a professional. It was just 2 floors, but I had Alien Legion pages, and that was all I had, because I was working with Chris, and then we got Doctor Strange. So, anyway, that was the early days, man.
That's
85,
so cool,
86.
though, too, to be there in that era. And you think about, that's where I kind of got myself distracted. But in 86, you had the end of Crisis. You had Jim Shooter running everybody off at Marvel while he created New Universe, right?
Mm-hmm. Can't believe that. It was
exactly same time.
Yeah, wow.
But
and the Watchmen, it's like Watchmen too.
Legends
incredible.
with DC, Mutant Massacre at Marvel.
Yeah.
And then, there's just tons of stuff going on. One of my favorites,
giant.
I don't know if you've ever seen these. I'm such a nerd, Randy, but I have these comic book chronicle books.
Of course you are.
That Tomorrow's puts out.
Goodness.
You're rolling me glass. It's another Tomorrow's
They're
publication.
fantastic. They're huge.
I don't have any of those. Oh, that's so it looks like it's got a lot of
really nice.
Oh, and did I mention Man of Steel came out that year too? Yeah.
Oh,
John, it's funny because you think about what DC's putting out, right? Crisis, Marvel creators, right? Titans was the number one selling book right up until Crisis, right? But then Wolfman got burned out writing it, but still, obviously, so major Marvel influence coming to the universe there. that people don't realize this, but Superman wasn't the #1 selling book. Wonder Woman was not the #1 selling book. Batman was not so #1. Number 1 and 2 coming into this era for DC were Titans and Legion. And 3 of the 4 creators were Marvel, because Giffen started out at Marvel too. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Rocket Raccoon.
What did he do? Did he do that after what's his face?
No, he did it
Mignola,
before.
his series?
Yeah, he did in the 70s.
Or before him.
So I wouldn't call
I
Giffen
didn't
a
even- I
Marvel
thought-
guy, because I think he's definitely a
gotta
DC guy.
start there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, that was the first thing I saw from Mike Mignola, because that's when I went back in '85 to New York and stayed with, and he was doing Rocket Raccoon when I came into the offices. It was
And
like, okay.
I think it's like it's amazing, all this stuff here, and of course Marvel are still mad at John Byrne for what he did with Superman, but Marvel person.
I don't even know. What do you like? But
Well,
screwed it up somehow,
so
right?
you don't
It's like,
know. Well, everybody else
Oh.
knows, because I whine about it all the time.
I mean, when he went to DC, I was just like,
Well,
I
he-
don't care
he
about you, John
decided
Byrne. I'm
that-
not going to read you.
He decided, I can't believe, I love Randy
Sure.
for saying that, because you sound like Travis, our friend Travis, who is tired of me talking about the Legion of Superheroes all the time. But John Byrne decided Superman became Superman as a man. If there's no Superboy,
Oh,
how do you
did he
have the
grow
Legion of
into it?
Superheroes?
right.
don't exist.
Yeah, that's right. It kind of wipes out history. I know you can't do that. You can't go around wiping out things
But
that
he
already
did.
exist.
Yeah.
Wait, look at you.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
Yeah.
We can
Oh, you
have those on
have
the
it, you
show.
can have- I
Wait,
don't know what Greg's drinking.
I do. Well, I forgot. I did bring it in. I won't be inebriated. This is just lime LaCroix, but
I've
it
got
has- it's
electrolytes,
cold and it
so
hasn't
very
been-
exciting.
This is just apple juice.
here we go.
It's just apple juice.
Oh,
I mean, last week I had a
Oh.
margarita on the podcast, so you can, it's possible.
well, I was just getting thirsty there, and I thought,
I
Wait a
got,
minute,
yeah, and when you said, do something from '86, right? And you said do Watchmen or Dark Knight. I think getting into this, I was kind of glad. I was sad because I have avoided reading The Dark Knight for all of these years until now.
His whole life.
that's funny. What did
It
it?
did.
It sold a lot, though,
Um,
right? I mean, it sold gajillions.
Well, and
right?
it's
like a lot.
you kind of think, like, for me as a reader,
Frank made a lot of money.
there's sort of a hole in my collection from like the early 80s, right? Because I had, I could get one, I was getting like one book a month, maybe two, until I started having my own money. And so 88, 89, 90, I got more and more comics. And then Greg and I started going to the comic shop together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're older. I mean, you can't believe you're like that
Yeah.
young back then. It's like, me. I was married. Let's see, in '86,
Yeah.
Elizabeth was born. We got our
Oh,
first
wow.
house in '86. A lot of things happened in '86. I'm gonna tell you.
And
It was
yeah,
like a
and
big
for
deal.
me, I was just getting my like 1 or 2 comics a month, getting into learning all about comics. And my first exposure to comics was in the 70s as a little kid, but my mom got me a subscription to the Hulk comic when the TV show was on, because I as a little kid,
Oh.
but as a like 4 or 5-year-old, those books were not written for kids. Jarella
No,
was
no,
not
no,
a character
no.
for kids.
Well, you mentioned it just as an aside, but isn't it amazing that Bill Bixby in The Incredible Hulk became a popular series that had a life?
Yeah.
And actually, they did a bunch of seasons, and it was kind of like
yeah.
The Fugitive or something. It's like dun, 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 every episode he's got to go help somebody and then run on
Right.
before they come get him. And it's like it worked. It totally worked, and that's the last person I would have imagined. Bill Bixby, but that was a hand for it was amazing. I was blown away, and I get to meet for a bunch of times. Super nice guy. He's still around. He was at one of the. I think he was up at. Was he at SummerCon?
Maybe he
I
was.
think
at
somebody
SummerCon.
said they saw
We
him.
were staying
Might-
away from that area. We were hanging out with you all, so
Yeah.
we were
As you should.
we were
yes,
too busy
comic
talking to you
people
and talking to
that
Englehart
follow
about
Bill-
his run on Green Lantern, and didn't even ask him about dropping LSD and doing Doctor Strange in the 70s. So
Yeah, I'm telling you, I wanted to go over and talk to him so bad because of all this stuff. I mean, I met him first, early on, like after Chris and I were on Doctor Strange, he was invited to this, what is it, San Antonio Fantasy Festival we went to, and that was in, gosh, I can't remember when, but we were both newbies, like Chris had worked longer than I had, and Steve was there, and he was totally hilarious, and, stories, and we hung out. I mean, he was probably the big name, and, like we were new, but, he liked us, and so it was fun. But I didn't get to talk to him. I was too busy just getting slammed. We killed it.
Oh, yeah.
SummerCon. Again, every year we've done better. This is 3 years in a row, and it's, I don't know. I know the economy's bad, but apparently for discretionary income, people still buy
Somebody
comic
came into
books
the
and
shop,
stuff,
they saw your picture up on the wall, and they're like, "Oh, you know Randy Emberlin? I saw him at SummerCon." So, I mean, like that was, yeah, it was just so funny.
Okay. And I'm gonna post that thing you guys did when I appeared at your store. It's a Daily Bugle. It says extra artist at large. It's so cool. In fact,
he's pulling it out.
We're at. There it is.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And it's like, it's got me down here, and then it's got extra Daily Bugle, and what does it say up here? Special event to take place in Kent, Washington. Childhood found at Kent's Retro Emporium. Daily Bugle. Artist at large. Comic book artist Randy Emberlin will be making his notorious appearance. No, it's like, there it is. Anyway, and the famous picture that's, black and white. I like this, so I'm going to post it.
Oh, Randy, you're saving us some time, too, because now I can just say, and you can revisit your childhood at the Retro Emporium on Kent, Washington on Meeker Street. You can see Greg and Ann, and you can go there. So,
yeah,
one plug out of the way.
One
plug out of the way.
It's
good.
All right. And I was there. I've been there a couple of times, in fact. And
I was
there
there.
again.
Have you
come
there
again?
When you just thought I was the guy hanging out at the store, and you gave me this.
Yeah, you were sweeping up. I did
you
sweeping up or something. I can't remember. No,
He
you were
was.
putting things back in order. You were very
That's what he does when
meticulously
he's there at
doing
the store hanging out.
And I got this awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You know what? If y'all aren't watching this one on video, I'm sure this one's entertaining on audio, but on video, you're getting all the cool artwork. So
Yeah.
Meanwhile, here's my favorite. I mean, I love Spider-Man and stuff, but I love
really cool.
doing Doctor Strange. That's one that actually came out pretty well. So one of the prints did. If you see me at a show, you can come have me sign that Doctor Strange print. I have a red version and a blue version. So, but Doc was, hey, it's Steve Ditko, man. He's my man, right? I mean, this is the other one everybody knows.
Was Steve Ditko a big deal? No.
Was he a big deal?
Okay,
I mean,
a big deal.
Some people.
Jack Kirby. I wish he was the same as Jack Kirby.
How excited were you when I walked up with those Creeper books at SummerCon?
Oh, those are awesome. I mean, I was so sad when he left Marvel and Spider-Man. It was just at the peak of, Spider-Man was just, I mean, the last couple issues kind of faded a little, like Guy Named Joe and all that, but that 3-part story, that's incredible. Saving Aunt May. I mean, it's just like,
oh yeah,
tears to your eyes.
Well,
it's like amazing.
I'm just thinking,
he was a great writer.
We'll get. I want to get to Klaus. I promise. I was thinking. I was trying to remember too, like what you were seeing as a kid, as a really young kid. I had to go look it up because I forgot his name. But did you have? So you had on Justice League. You had Dick Dillon and Giordano.
You had to tell me that because I wouldn't have known. I had forgotten. I mean, it's like, I know those were the days, like the early 60s, right? You're talking early
Dylan
60s?
was like late 60s, early 70s,
other guy
I think, on it.
Well, wait, okay. So before him was the guy who had done a lot of that on
Right,
on
let
the
me
Justice
go
League
back
books. What
on
was his
this
name?
a little bit, because
I do know
Giordano
a
at that
different
time
name.
would have been
I
doing
do
Charlton
remember.
Action Heroes too, right?
Right, yeah. No, I remember it was Crisis on Earth 1 and Earth
Mike
2.
Sikowski.
Like that's it, Sikowski, yeah. And he actually had drawn some other books. You know what? He may have even done a backup story in that Space Ranger comic. It was weird. It was like about robots and it was like, I remember as a kid was like, they kept saying, they were like police robots going, cease resistance, cease resistance. And it's just like, but it was Sikowski.
Like tons of Sikowski.
He had a
and
definite
then it switches
visual
to Dick Dillon. Yeah, and then obviously then Giordano comes over to DC from Charlton when DC, I guess Charlton goes out of business basically, right?
Choir.
How long? I mean, they were around, and I was buying the Ditko stuff at Charlton.
Yeah.
When he went over, he left Marvel and he was doing all that Charlton. I love the Blue Beetle and the Question. Those
We
guys
love
are
the Blue
great,
Beetle.
Yes, we
Well,
do.
and to get us back to 1986, right? Watchmen, which we didn't read.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I read it.
You didn't read it?
but we
Yeah,
didn't-
we
not
read
for the
it.
podcast. Not for.
Okay,
I've read
no.
Watchmen lots of times. Yeah, but
Oh,
we
right, okay,
not for
right.
the podcast. But
Right.
Watchmen was originally supposed to be all of those Charlton action heroes, and DC was like, "Wait, Len Wein wants to do a Blue Beetle book, so you can't, you can't have them, right? Alan Moore, you
You
can't
call
have
them-
them, so they're all analogs of those Charlton action heroes, right? Yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? The owl or whatever he is. He's got that same
with the
yeah,
owl
that's what
ship
I thought
instead
when
of
I
the
saw
Beetle
it. I go,
ship,
yeah,
and
that's the
yeah,
Blue
and
Beetle. Yeah, exactly. That was
and
so
Dr.
cool.
Manhattan is
it was
Captain
great.
Adam.
Who?
Nightshade is
Okay, yeah,
what's her
Captain
face?
Adam. Right.
Owlman's
Who
girlfriend.
is it? I forget.
Why am I blanking?
Yeah.
Silk Spectre is Nightshade, and
Oh, right.
obviously,
Okay.
and I forget who Rorschach is. No, he is.
Yeah, who's
no,
Rorschach? I think
no,
he's
he's the
Carnage.
Question.
I think he's
He's the
actually
Question.
Carnage. Martin.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
well,
the
that's right,
Question.
because of the mask. Right.
And Peter Cannon's Thunderbolt.
Very tough question.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
It's Ozymandias. Yeah, so you have all the
Right,
analogs. It's just
okay.
interesting, but yeah, and all these things, like it's crazy. All these things kind of coalesce into 86. 86 is a crazy year in comics.
Good year.
It was, I'm telling you, well, my daughter, my first child born, got a house that year, got a job at Marvel the year before. And so probably went to San Diego for the first time in years. And it's like, that was a huge year.
And
huge.
And then you gave me
It was
this book,
crazy.
Randy.
And we have Doctor Strange. Probably
And Randy,
in
and you gave
86
me
too.
this book to read.
I mean,
Dark Knight Returns.
Which one?
I mean,
can't remember.
it's like
Oh,
You
It
gave me
was like-
this.
oh,
But Dan, I mean, it was like the same time I moved down the street. So I mean, it's all good.
That
It's all
is
good.
true. That is true.
So
That is true. No, I'm just teasing Randy a little bit because
you didn't buy that book.
no,
You were
no,
too young.
no,
I was too
right?
young.
It's like, you
Yeah.
got it late.
no,
I
no.
did
I
not buy
moved
that
down.
book.
I moved down the street
Yeah,
from
he did
Dan
not buy
around
that
that
book.
same time. So yeah,
he's
so,
2 years younger than me.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
That's
then
funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
you're
No, I
really
went to
a
the
child
elementary
then.
school,
Wow,
like
we can-
literally down like 2 blocks from his house. So
But
I'll
he
be
had
darned. Be
he
darned.
had Greg had access to a lot of older books that I didn't have access to
yeah,
growing up.
Didn't you guys have a used bookstore where you
That's
could go
what
in and buy
O'Leary's
stuff
was
for
for
cheap?
me,
by
yeah.
like 10
not
Um,
in our town,
I mean,
but we had to
Not close.
go
it wasn't
was
close.
not close.
to Tacoma, Lakewood.
Or Kent.
area.
We could go to
Yeah.
Book World in Kent back when
Yeah.
it existed.
I had a bookstores downtown that were amazing. Like people would
Mhm.
dump their collections there, and like my friend Mark Von Schalen, who I went to grade school with, his dad owned a building downtown, and it was the famous building. Von Schalen. It has the big sign. It looks like the state of
yeah,
Oregon.
yeah,
It has
yeah.
the white stag jumping
Yeah.
on it. It was the white stag. Now it says Portland, but it has that sign. It was always burned out and stuff back in those days. Well, we could go down there and hang out. My parents let me do that as kids, as like 8-year-old kids, and go to those bookstores. And if there were collections, we were
That's cool.
serious collectors already. It's like, oh, we're gonna get that. Yeah. And we got money. We extorted
That-
money.
That wasn't
get
Greg and
those
I until I
collections.
had my driver's license. And
Yeah,
then, so that's in early 90s when we started
Yeah.
doing that.
And we started
so-
working at Fred Meyer.
Well,
Yeah.
and Todd opened the store
Yeah.
in Puyallup, right?
Yeah.
With Kim. Yeah. So
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
wow.
So O'Leary's
Forgot about
closed, and became a baby store or something. And
Yeah.
we started going to Spider's Web when they closed. I think we were still going to O'Leary's, but then we went to Spider's Web permanently when they closed. But how crazy is that to have Todd McFarlane and his best friend brother-in-law
There's his
brother-in-law and
brother-in-law
best
or
friend
somebody
open a
opened the
store in your
store.
hometown, right?
It,
Like,
it was surreal.
yeah,
That's pretty amazing. I mean, it is surreal because it wasn't like, it was so
Yeah.
connected to everything, I went to high school in Milwaukee, and so it was a long ways from where I lived, which was Happy Valley. So I'd have to take the activities bus home. So if I didn't have to, like I did sports, I did track and I did basketball and stuff, but even golf one year. But my mom would come from Oregon City and a lot of times could pick me up. And so I didn't have to take that bus. So, when I was 15 or 16, right, I was just getting my license. I didn't have a car. So we could stop at Fred Meyer on the way home. It wasn't that far. And they had attached to it was like a little strip mall type thing with the used comic books, used comics. I got so much. Was it Brave and the Bold? First
Wow.
appearance of the Justice League there in great condition. So it was like $8,000 or something, it's like, and I was like, it's like, I don't even care about Justice League anymore, but this is pretty cool.
Yes.
Starro the Conqueror. And it's like, and I got Green Lanterns, like number 2, number 5, number 7. It was somebody had dumped a collection. And then I got a bunch of Joe Kubert,
wow.
Our Army at War or whatever. And because I wanted his art. And it was just stacks. And I remember one summer going to the beach with my cousin Doug, and we always read comics. And we just sat and we read war comics with, like Joe Kubert's war comics. It was like all week long at the beach. And then we go down and play in the sand. And it was like, those days, come back.
Right.
Bring those back.
I mean, Joe Kubert, Gil Kane, just
it doesn't get any better. I never met Gil Kane, but I did meet Joe, and Joe was amazing.
Our only issue with Gil Kane was the paperplate Spider-Man faces we felt he drew.
Yeah.
Spider. He could not draw that mask. It's crazy.
They look like the paper plates, like the Spider-Man paper plates. Yeah,
really,
they're
like round,
like a
round
head.
like, that's so weird. I know I've seen somebody do that before. Other people.
Is one of the best facial expression artists in history.
He's the guy that can draw the upshot with the nose and make it
one
look
of the best.
Nobody can do that.
You think
that's the
guy?
You put a mask on a character and he can't draw it. Like it's like crazy.
It's a party plate.
What? Yeah, his anatomy was copied so much by, it's straight out of the anatomy books and stuff. But other people have ripped it off, and like that's how they learned anatomy was from Gil Kane. It was like a good source actually. Funny that he inked a lot of his own stuff with crappy felt pens. That's really a bummer because that stuff doesn't last. It fades and looks terrible. But he wanted the money. He was a big money guy. He wanted every dime. So he inked a lot of his stuff, and it's like, unfortunately, it didn't last. So too bad. Others had learned to use India ink.
Gotta use the good stuff.
Good grief.
Well, we've got a book with 16 panels.
That's right. And I couldn't believe it kept happening. It was like page after page after page, like 16-panel pages. Like I never even heard of it.
Oh, go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say every time you got done with the page, I swear I got a text message. Like it was That
was just when I was reading the first issue.
From you.
Yeah.
Look, and here's a traditional, like they're all bordered 4x4, but there's a ton of them that are like open. They're open, and it's like 16-panel page that's open. God, this one looks like it's trying to be more than 16
like 24.
That's the one with the pearls on it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The pearls, right? Yeah, that's quite a telling of.
Yeah,
his
well, of
origin
course.
there.
We can kind of yes. So I'm just going to tell everybody this book has 16 panels. We are not.
This is that's what blew me. I was like, what heck is going on here? What in the wide world?
We are not
going
to
Joe's.
Yeah. If you were expecting us to try to review this in our normal way where we like read some of the things and go through every page, that's impossible on this book.
I know. Yeah. It is. Why bother? It's like just get to the heart of what the issues were and, the high points and stuff like that. And there were some really interesting storylines. And of course like I said, Frank forever. It was like, it took him forever to finish the damn thing, but it's like finally it got finished and there was all of the new Robin and all of that kind of stuff. You know,
And I did read. I
did.
did go and read all
Yeah.
4 issues with the 16-page panels.
You did. Good for
I get
you.
a
Well,
gold
you
star. I
did
made
a
it
gold
through.
star.
Well, I had to know. So first off, I don't think too controversial because I think this is a book people either really love or hated it, and I'm
Or hated
probably
it, yeah.
more on the hated it side. And there are a couple reasons for that. I won't say them all right now. But part of it,
Why not, Dan?
Oh,
I was gonna
please.
say
You
part of
usually
it,
do.
the art. Okay, well,
Oh no.
The art is a little bit abstract, expressionistic. You know, it's like
the
we have
cover
to
of the
go
second issue
that
is one of the
direction.
worst covers of comic books I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, it looks. So Chris Warner
Say
said, well, I shouldn't say
Say it.
maybe it wasn't him, but he says it looks like he's grunting on the toilet.
Oh,
you know?
Greg, I didn't
Yeah.
think about this. This could be the new Danny Chase Award winner for Poop Face.
Oh
See,
my
Danny
gosh.
Chase, the character from the Teen Titans, that
Yeah, that is
George,
that-
every time he used his powers, and in his first appearance, for some reason, George Perez did not draw that book. And so every time that character was using his mental powers, it looks like he was taking a big poop.
Yeah, no.
And so he gets, that is the award on this podcast. If you look like you're doing that, you get the Danny Chase Award for taking a poop. So
Oh,
you are,
he's
you are
doing it.
here.
That's hilarious.
Uh,
Have you got all 4? What do the other 2 covers look like?
Uh,
I can't remember.
You got
I
the
remember
one with
that
the
one.
kind of no. The
I'll
other
remember
2
one.
look more like the first issue. So you got the
Okay.
you've got
You're
yeah,
kinda
the silhouette with Robin in the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah, with
Really exciting.
and
It's really
then
exciting.
the Superman.
Is it Carrie? Is
Yeah.
that who becomes the
Yeah,
freaking
Carrie.
what's her name? Yeah, against And that I don't even remember that one at the
Well,
end.
I
don't
mean, and
even
again,
remember that cover.
we'll cover the first issue a little bit with Two-Face / One-Face in it, but
right.
yeah.
That was actually
I
interesting.
mean, by the time we get
storyline
to the
stuff,
end,
you know, I
Batman
like that.
has his own brown shirts and has become a full-fledged fascist. So you know that's where I have some issues with this, especially.
It's like he's discovered his true self again. It's like he can't suppress it anymore.
Yeah, in this
You
first
know.
issue. Oh,
You know what's funny? When you read that stuff, when I was reading some of that stuff where Batman's talking to himself and he's suppressing all this and it's coming back and all of the angst and the anger and the way he talks about the criminals and stuff, it's like, this is totally Daredevil. This is the new Daredevil series. This is like, go back. I mean, I've watched all of it now and Judy has too. And it's like, I can't believe she watched it because it's so violent, but it's like, you know, that is such a Frank Miller influenced thing. His whole, I mean, he's way
Yeah,
worse
yeah.
than Batman, you know, like he's nuts. Daredevil is insane, you know, it's like you just go, and yet he believes in justice. And you know,
He's a
I'm
good
glad
guy.
he was
It's
lawyer.
interesting.
He wants to beat people up. He just wants to
I
beat
did
them
some
up.
Frank Miller research a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And of course, this Tomorrow's book just has a little clip of something he said. But basically, without me reading the quote, he was,
Yeah.
this book was supposed to be a response to crime in New York at the time,
Okay.
which does make
Oh,
sense.
but
Yeah,
must have
80s
bad-
was bad
must have
because
been, I
remember,
guess.
that's how we get Rudy Giuliani in the 90s because he supposedly cleans up New York, right? Right.
You're gonna
Even
be
though
the
we ignore the
sheriff,
fact
yeah.
that cities are cyclical and they go through cycles,
Yeah.
and you know, it just being lucky enough to be the mayor when crime
Was
stops.
that when the guy that was the hero on the subway that shot
was
somebody?
that was around
during
that
that
time. Yeah, we find out he wasn't such a hero, but he
Just doing it because
you're
he's
right.
doing it.
Yeah, everybody wants to go, well, if we were all carrying, we'd of course all be heroes and save
Right,
everybody.
And of
You know,
course,
it's
you
like,
only
no,
shoot the
you-
African American men on the subway, right? Because those are the only bad guys, right? Yeah, all these premises work out
Right.
really well if you're racist, right? Like, yeah, I mean, fantastic.
You're right. It's
Yeah.
it just doesn't work that
This-
way. Yeah, we know that. People with guns,
No,
it never
generally
works out.
not.
It's no good.
And this book here, at least he didn't start using guns. I will say that in the book. I
Right.
thought it was going to get there.
You know,
He-
he liked knives a lot, though. There's like that mutant. gang.
Yeah, well, and this is kind of what it starts. We've got, Bruce Wayne's wandering around the city looking like the Monopoly Man. And
Yeah. I had that. Actually, in a couple of those pictures, he reminds me of Ronald Coleman.
does.
He's got the mustache, and it's like, I love that shadowed face, the side. I mean, I should bring that up because some of these were huge. You can look at my art in Alien Legion when I was inking Larry Stroman, and this affected that. I mean, that was after Chris left, and I'm still studying that stuff. And it's like, I literally copied some of those approaches like this. Oh, right. Let's see.
Get it in the screen. There you go.
Where is it? There.
Yeah.
Those two where he's drinking and, he's looking at Gordon, and then you just look at the shadows on the side of his face and the way it works with his eyes and his cheeks. It's brilliant. I mean, it's like, it's got the right emotion and expression. And of course the word balloons are blocking everything out. But anyway, that approach to like throwing these black, in some cases, they almost look random, patches on here. But it's like Jack Kirby. It's like, you know where to put those.
Well, talk
It's
to
magic,
Talk to us
it's
about
like
how
work.
the inking works here, because obviously, the shadowing here, right, is Klaus's inking, not the penciling being done. Yeah,
There probably is some, aspect, I'm sure, because, Frank ultimately became, this Mr. reversed image black and white guy. If you look at Sin City and all that stuff, he was obsessed with that kind of stuff later. So obviously it was there, but I think Klaus may have even helped him develop a sense about that, because you look at all of the Daredevil stuff and what Klaus did to that. He did a masterful job, because a lot of it was pretty poorly drawn. I mean, it was better in some ways than some of the other stuff, but it's just interesting. I've had a lot of people look at Frank's work and go, well, he kind of used a piece of this and a piece of that and kind of put it together. And his storytelling was that was it. It was the brilliant storytelling. And it's like how he saw images and pacing, and pictures and cropping and all of that. It wasn't the drawing itself, it's like, but ultimately you did have, what's his name, Klaus, to make it look pretty cool. Because it's like black is the key. It's how you place the blacks. And if you look at this in the Batman one, he used super fine, like crow quill lines, super thin, up next to blobs of black. It's like the nose may have a really hairline, and then, like this big blob of black, and then hairline, definition, and it works. It's just you have to know where to put it, and it works. It's very interesting. So all of us are trying to figure that out.
Greg and I read the entire Booster Gold series that also started in 1986. However, not one of the books known for being in 1986 at all. No.
Oh, Booster Gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was 86. I thought it was funny. I thought, Booster Gold. Oh, what are they doing? I don't know what this is, but it's
When
kind
we
of
were
clever.
reading
It's like,
through
what
those,
is
it got
this?
later, because the series only went 25 issues, right? And I think Blue Beetle also, the two big books out of Crisis were Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, right? And they each go about 25 issues, and then Giffen makes them the pair later in the Justice League, right? And then they become famous characters from there.
Okay.
Blue Beetle, obviously a famous character from the Golden Age, but that Ted Cord Blue Beetle kind of really took off again right then in the 60s. Yeah.
I guess he was like a Golden Age guy, wasn't he? I mean, I saw some pictures of that. And he had a scarab, and I don't even know who drew
in the
him
Golden
back
Age,
then.
I have
It
no
was
idea.
like,
Well, it went through a bunch. We did a podcast on it very, very early on the podcast because I'm obsessed with Blue Beetle. And
I love Blue Beetle. I wish that character had some movies himself,
Well,
It's
he
like you
did.
could take
The
that
newest
guy
one,
and do
though.
something.
They did a new Blue Beetle, and it was not good.
No, what? I didn't hear about it.
So
well,
they
I guess
did,
I did
you
hear
should
about
watch
it, but I never...
Actually, you should.
So can I
Greg
watch
says
it
you should
on
watch
what?
it, and I say you should
Amazon
read
Read?
it. And so
You should read it,
because
and
the
then you
movie
should watch
didn't
it.
follow the book. Did not.
It did follow the book, or didn't?
So Keith Giffen
did not.
relaunched.
Okay.
So Keith Giffen relaunched Blue Beetle as Jaime Reyes,
When was that movie?
and it was
What
3
year?
or 4 years ago.
What, the book or the movie?
I do remember hearing about it. Now, and
Actually,
it's
you
like,
should
I
watch
was so
the movie.
busy.
Watch
Whatever,
the
I
movie
just never
without
looked
ever
it up.
reading the comic book. Then you won't
It's
have
on-
my issues with it.
Okay.
You can currently watch it on HBO Max or Hulu or Amazon Prime.
Oh, Hulu.
So,
I do Hulu. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
So I
on.
can
It's on
Hulu.
those.
It's called
Blue
the
Beetle.
Blue Beetle. and
Yeah,
It's just,
And there's
you
like
know,
a
okay. But is it? I mean, it's
No,
not horribly
it's
made.
actually-
but it's interesting. It's
If you go into it just like you're gonna enjoy a movie, you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if you go into it having read the book that Dan and I read in the past, you're gonna draw a lot of comparisons and be kind of let down that it didn't hold up to the book that you read, because the book is so good.
So you're saying this is a separate book from any of the Blue Beetle adventures that I know.
Yeah, so
of.
Ted
Who
Cord,
wrote
they
this?
killed off Ted Cord in the late 2000s
Oh.
in a really, really good
Okay.
story. They had gone, Gail had written him into Birds of Prey. Yes.
Gail Simone.
Had written him
that
into
right?
Birds
Yeah,
of
okay.
Prey, and he was kind of like
That's
out
great.
of shape and
Oh, Birds of
had a
Prey.
heart condition, and they did this whole one-shot issue leading into this big event where he solved a mystery
Okay.
and he gets to the end and he gets shot. So nobody would know he actually solved the mystery, right? Like, but it's like he gets everything back.
Okay.
He's like, I am a good superhero. This all happened, but none of the other superheroes would buy into what he was doing because he had kind of lost his gravitas,
edge.
right?
Yeah.
His edge. And so he does solve the mystery, but nobody's there to back him up. And the villains kill him at the end.
Okay.
Actually, Maxwell Lord.
And the movie
is not
did a
the-
little different
Yeah, so the
take on
movie
it,
was
but
the next Blue Beetle. So the Scarab comes back and they have Jaime Reyes. He's a high school kid and he ends up with the Scarab, and it's wonderful storytelling.
Okay.
Movie a little bit different.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, that's so. Now, when you say the story that you want me to read, is it collected issues or is it a single special edition?
The
or
Blue
something
Beetle
like
story,
this?
if you read the first 6, of that
The
new
one
one.
that you're talking about. I mean, it's not just the Blue Beetle 1 to 25.
Nah, it's
or
a
is it
newer book.
something
It was in the
separate from that, or-
2000s. So, yeah.
Okay, but it was just a mini series that they
I think
came
it
up
ran
with.
what-
It was,
I think it
How-
ran like
how long
the
was
first
the
arc's,
arc?
I think 4 to 5 issues. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, if it's a good story, I'd read it.
I
you know,
loved
it's
it.
Like, it sounds interesting. I like that character. I just think he was a cool character. And I didn't know anything about him during the Ditko era. I mean, you didn't get
Well,
any
and Ditko
background
was
on him, really.
so they
you
did
know?
do not to nerd out on Blue Beetle for a second, but why not?
Why not?
Why not? So Charlton brought back Dan Garrett.
Hey, Ditko's
Yeah.
related to me to
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
So Charlton
Sure,
brought
it
back
works.
the Golden Age Blue Beetle for like a second, and he ends up like Ted Cord is like his mentee, but Ted Cord can't use the Scarab, so Ted Cord just has the Scarab. So for
Oh.
whatever reason, Ted Cord can't access the magic, so he creates his own superhero.
Huh.
And it basically, it's the cross between Batman and Spider-Man because that's what Ditko created, right?
Yeah.
And hence the Blue
Yeah.
Beetle. Yeah,
I love
the goggle.
goggles.
And
They were
then
great.
It's so cool.
Len Wein loved the character, and so Len Wein, they bring Blue Beetle back. He makes appearances in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then Len Wein gets the series. So now you have. He was really. There was a couple of Charlton characters they revived, right? That were somewhat successful. Blue Beetle probably is the most successful.
Yeah.
Obviously, Captain Atom still floats around.
Right.
The Question was not as commercially successful, but still floats around, and I love that character.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a cool
Nightshade,
character.
they try to
man.
do things with from time to time, but not as. And
Yeah.
then I
right,
think the
yeah.
creator owns Peter Cannon, so they couldn't use that character.
Oh.
There's something with
Okay.
rights where they couldn't, even though Giordano got them the rights to all of the Charlton stuff when he came over. For some reason, they couldn't use Peter Cannon.
I'll be darned. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I mean, I want to see the movie now. That'll give me something
is
fun to look forward to.
It's a
so.
fun movie.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll just see
Don't
it as
read the
it's- well,
comic.
It is,
Watch the movie on its own.
It's a popcorn.
I want. I'll watch the movie.
Hey, if you
and then
don't like
later,
it, blame me. Call me and tell me
Right.
it's terrible, and I'll be like, "I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Randy."
I'm sure I'll probably enjoy it. If you said if you go into it thinking that you're just
And
It's
watching
just
a
like the
movie,
Crystal
that's
Skull.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little long with Indiana Jones. That's my only complaint about those movies. They just they go on and on and on. It's like, God, I just think movies
yeah.
are too long in general. It means they're not
Mm.
telling lean films.
Straight
I
to
like
the point.
lean films.
Yeah.
For every
Good
moment,
storytelling.
See,
you know.
Well, and it's just
Yeah.
well, and this book, which we will actually talk about at some point. But
45 minutes and we're
Well,
not
there's
quite
more.
there.
Yeah.
You were here to talk
no,
about
I
it.
mean Bruce
listeners,
wanders
thank you
home.
so
He
much.
runs into a gang, and he's scared, and
Right.
kind of prompts him to bring Batman back. There is something I did want to point out in this book. Well, one, there's a lot of commentary, right? So you're getting a
Yeah.
lot of. So they have newscasters, and they're
Right. That
Very.
and it was clever because we hadn't seen a lot of that. And I thought, oh, that was kind of cool. It's like, I'm Bill and this, and you have the girl, and she just keeps going back and forth between all these, shots. That's where you get those floating heads.
I think my
you know?
favorite
It's like-
thing in all 4 issues, though, and not surprising, also DC's favorite thing because they pulled it right for the Dark Knight movie. But
Oh,
that when he falls into the cave as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. I didn't see that coming. I was kind of like, what? I mean, I knew roughly, but I mean, had they told
I
that
don't
story
think
the
so.
same before? No.
I think this is it.
I don't
for
think
that.
so.
Yes.
I mean, of course, it's in the movies too, right? I mean, like,
yeah, they
I
take
mean, we
the
got
out of
that.
continuity for the movies, which was smart. I mean, this was and the
It's
and
cool.
you don't have a lot of bright colors in this book.
No.
So when they show the red
No.
there, and then the
Very
cave
muted.
too, when you got the Robin suit way back in the corner of the cave, it's the only thing colored.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I looked at that today. That's
Yeah,
funny.
everything else is covered up and dusted, and you find out you don't know exactly what happened, but he's estranged from Dick Grayson for whatever reason. And of course, in DC continuity, this is around the time that he becomes Nightwing. So it does make sense that they wouldn't want Dick in the
That's right. So
Yeah.
Robin becomes Nightwing, and then with the Jason guy
Hamburger.
what happened to him?
Well,
It's like,
what happened to him is they set up
You
a
got
900 number, and you got to call in to find out if you killed him or not. And DeMatteis had to write 2 stories. Yeah, so DeMatteis had a story
Really?
for Mark DeMatteis had a story for him living and a story for him dying, and it was up to a 1-900 number.
Oh my gosh! It's like when they print the hats, for the champion. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? They got the loser hat.
What's
And,
crazy is
yes,
people
they're ready to
called
go.
in and wanted him to die and then got mad that he died.
I don't think anybody was mad that Jason Todd
Oh,
died.
there's
It
people that are
was-
mad that he's dead.
Tim Drake
Well,
was
they all
such a
hate to see
superior character
really.
to
It's
Jason
true.
Todd, though. I mean, Tim Drake was a fantastic character. Like the notion, Jason Todd, they try to make sort of like Dick Grayson,
Mhm.
except with an edge. And then
Yeah.
the next Robin is like so smart that he figured out Batman was Bruce Wayne and ended up at his house, right? Like, I
Hey.
mean,
Okay.
and he's a scientist, and that's just a cooler character, right? It's a if you're gonna replace
Yeah.
Robin, you shouldn't replace him with the same thing, right?
Well-
Right.
And
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I mean, detective comics, right? The Batman used to be the brilliant detective. He wasn't about beating people up and killing them and using all kinds of. He was like clever and he solved mysteries and had all
Well,
kinds
now
of
he's
cool ways
old.
of doing it. So yeah, I know. Now he's old. He said, what did he say? 70? Is it
60s,
say
I
70
thought.
somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's what's
Bruce-
his name was 70.
Commissioner Gordon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Commissioner Gordon. He's turning 70. He's going to retire. I thought, I'm 70. I'm 70. I'm retired. Okay.
Well, I thought this was, and you're hardly retired. You are doing more
Yeah,
things
you're still
in
doing stuff.
retirement than
Most.
Yeah, my wife says that, but it's like, no, it's like we're going on a month-long trip to Canada,
wow.
leaving on the 11th. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be 2 weeks in Canmore, south of Banff, and we're going to be on
that's
e-bikes on
nice.
trails, and we're going to be going up to the glacier in Jasper, and and we did a week at Waldo Lake recently, and there was no water. We had to take our own water and filtration system. I mean, we're roughing it, man. We got our kayaks and hiking boots. This is the world that we live in
That is
now. It's so
cool.
much cooler. It's like, love comics, but it's like you can only do those for so long, and you're running out of
Enjoy
time.
yourself.
I got to
Yeah.
do some
one.
triathlon
This
stuff,
Yeah, Batman decided not to do all the things you're suggesting.
No.
He decides to,
I know. He's
and
stuck.
He has the choice, and
Well,
he
and
says
talk about-
no. Go
talk about everybody being stuck too. So this first issue is really about Batman and Two-Face. And they're kind of retelling Batman's origin, and I do think it's smart to. I think the way they did it with just like one page for each part of the origin sprinkled through the issue is good.
Yeah.
Like if you had never picked up a Batman book and you read this, you know how Batman became Batman.
You know,
This is how I
And-
learned
right.
about Batman.
Is
Yeah.
it really?
No, Dan.
Don't-
no,
No, it isn't.
Don't joke like that. I was gonna be mad.
This is how Mike Tanner learned about Batman. That's why he doesn't like Batman.
That's why he's so sad.
don't-
So the that's well, this was interesting because they introduce Arkham sort of, and you get a glimpse of the Joker, and you get
Yeah.
Two-Face.
Right. There he is. The Joker's in there. Just like, no, his face.
Yeah,
is
and
just
like
fire.
Two-Face is all bandaged up, like his whole face is covered up, and I guess the premise is that they fixed him.
Yeah,
But he couldn't cope with being fixed.
Right?
they put
Yeah.
What did he messed
they
up
put
his
Humpty
face
Dumpty
again?
back together again.
I get he.
Yeah.
Is that what- God. Is
Yeah,
he
he's
just hiding
hiding
it?
it.
I forget. Is it underneath those? So it's actually the face is okay, but he's upset because he still has the
Right.
mark on the coin, and it's like, yeah, that was good. It was good. I
Oh,
could
for
see
sure.
that in a movie.
And
I
you've
could
got
do
some
something like that.
psychologist that like thinks he's ready to get out, so he's gonna let him out, and that's that.
It's mystery man, Dr. Casanova Frankenstein, right? Like, he goes, well, Captain Amazing is here, and he's vouching for him because they're going, this crazy murderer will never, and then they get out the big stamp, and it goes, here.
Exactly.
Ah, I love that movie so much.
I do too. That's I wish there were more comic, superhero movies where they make fun of themselves. I mean, it's just, it's such
Yes.
rich.
Yes.
Genre. You could have fun with that.
Have
you
you-
know, it's really fun. And they did. I mean,
Did
it was
you
like a lot of
watch
cool
the
actors,
Supergirl
I mean,
movie?
and cool-
It is.
I haven't yet.
Yeah.
no.
So
Is it
so
good?
the premise is,
fun?
and it's a Tom King wrote a book, a 12-issue book called Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, like 5 years ago, and that's what they based the movie off of.
Okay.
And the premise for the story, I think you'll love the premise. So, right, Superman's on Earth, right? And he was a little baby and he never saw his planet blow up and has no trauma associated with that or anything, right? He's just here and he's raised by these
Yeah.
loving parents and everything's great, right? Well, Supergirl was a teenager when she
Right.
left Krypton, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
he
I think I told you
me
this at
right? It's
SummerCon.
like,
Yeah, she leaves.
Yeah.
She leaves.
Right.
She leaves Krypton. Yeah, I
ruins
think it
your
would.
life.
And so, the premise
Yeah.
is that basically she gets here as a 16-year-old. Now she's 23, and she decides to make a trip bar hopping through the galaxy to deal with her trauma with her dog. That's the movie. It's great. And it's
That's crazy.
it's
Oh,
a
okay.
coming of age
Why
story,
not?
right? Like
Yeah.
it's just, and it's yeah, I think
Okay.
you'll really enjoy it. Lobo shows up in the movie.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
well,
like
that's
that
a good
guy.
thing too.
Yeah. One, we got to
Best-
see Simon Bisley
know.
at SummerCon, which was
I was gonna say, I was just gonna bring that up. It's like
Yeah.
Bisley, Lobo. I tried to get him. He came to my table and he loved these pages that Eric Larsen and I did. And I said, "You can have them. I'll sign them. I'll give them to you." And then he disappeared. And it was like
Ah,
he left early. Half the time they were at the table, and I wanted to just go over and give it to him. Like we never find him to
man.
give him.
we
the
got to
pages.
talk to him
Like,
for
you
like
know,
30 minutes. He told
he
us that DC invited him back to do some covers for Lobo and was telling him how to draw Lobo, and he told him to F off.
yeah, a few. Or like,
I drew Lobo.
I can see
Yeah,
him doing that.
I
can
got
see
my
him doing
Lobo
that, totally.
paramilitary.
He's-
Yes.
He's a crusty old character now. That's for sure.
He signed my Lobo paramilitary Christmas special, the issue where Lobo kills Santa Claus. Yeah, it's classic
great.
from the 90s. It's the 90s. I mean, yeah, that's what happened in the
The
90s.
90s, yeah. Everything was happening. Yeah,
Well,
it
this
was
kind of goes on
insane.
in this book, and you've got a gang too. You find out they're the Mutants, and they're they've got a
yeah.
weird superpowered leader, and they're kind of following around doing stuff.
It's
And
very
in the
big
backdrop,
in the 80s.
yeah, I know. Well, I think it's a
Yeah.
little bit of a stab at
mute.
Marvel. I mean, let's be real. It's just
Yeah,
a tiny bit
I
of a
think
stab
so
at
too.
Marvel.
The mute.
maybe.
And yeah, I think in the other random stab he takes is at Lana Lang, of all people. She's a newscaster in this, and she's like doing a debate counterpoint show.
Oh, that's right.
She's
That's
put on a
right.
few
Yeah, I
pounds
forgot.
over the years, apparently. And
Well,
I was like, what does he have against Lana Lang? Like,
he's taking.
you know, it's
shots at
interesting
whatever
though.
he wanted to.
They may not have let him use Lois because Man of Steel was at the same time. So they were relaunching Superman, so they may not have let him use Lois. So he grabs the
Probably
character that
not,
shouldn't
yeah.
matter anymore, because why does Lana matter if Superboy never existed?
Right.
And
Yeah,
he grabs the
exactly.
other one. Well, so,
Exactly.
that makes sense. And basically, I'll probably shotgun through a little bit more of the story, but
Yeah, because it's gonna be dinner time
Yeah.
around here. I'm gonna get a yell
I got
from
steaks
Dallas.
to cook too.
He's gonna go, "What are you going?" I'm there. It's been an
And we
hour and a
can't-
half.
we-
Whatever,
we
it's a
can't-
mile off.
We can't make.
But
too
yeah,
many.
I mean, basically, Batman goes out. He finds out that Two-Face is behind a bunch of this stuff that's happening in the city.
Right.
And for whatever reason, Two-Face just cannot cope with having a face. Should we call him One Face?
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
it's ruined his gig. Yeah, they thought he was cured, but
No.
not so
The other
much.
thing I want in reading this book too is after seeing all of the bandaged up face, I want Klaus to be inking Negative Man and Negative Woman in Doom Patrol.
When Doom Patrol, yeah, I always liked Doom Patrol. Yeah,
Well, and
that's a
speaking
cool
of things
book,
around
you
the
know.
same time,
That was
doesn't
cool.
Morrison take over Doom Patrol? No, that's 2 years later. I'm jumping the
years.
gun. They
Yeah, I think it
relaunched.
was later,
Yeah,
I
they
think it's
relaunched
funny.
Doom Patrol as a bad
For me,
book, and then Morrison took it over.
and for me, it was Eric Larsen getting to work on Doom
Yeah.
Patrol because he was a kid that came down to the shows and he would go, I can draw. And it was like Chris Warner and I were at the tables, at Richard Finn's shows, and he would be, anyway, long story short, it's like
Yeah.
he got work at DC and he did some Doom Patrol. And then he went over to Marvel and he did that Marvel Comics Presents with Spider-Man stuff. And he must have met Todd McFarlane somewhere in there because they hit it off. And then when Todd left, they hired him on Amazing Spider-Man, and he and I were buds. And he called me up and he goes, Randy, I want you to ink it like Walt Simon's. I want to get those Crow Quill pens out and just
Oh
rip
wow.
across. And I'm like, they're going, absolutely. I'm here. I'm happy to get on Amazing
awesome.
Spider-Man with you. And it was just a miracle. It was so fun to see him go from that to there to, and then it happened. And it was, the rest is history. He went on to do big stuff. He didn't, I guess I could have gone to Image, but I had a house and a wife and 2 kids. Let's see. No, yeah, Alex. Yeah, I think so. 91. Anyway, but I got on the Spider-Man book and it's like, why would I get off of an
Yeah.
iconic book like that? And, it was doing great and it had really high profile. And then we hit the 90s. It was like, and then it was like Eric had already left before that happened. And then, what's his face? Bagley came in and we did the Carnage and the Venom stuff and all that. Yeah,
You're just going.
it was huge. And so I'm glad if I'd gone to Image, I could have thought I could have failed, and then I'd be sorry.
Well,
but,
Eric
it's like,
Larsen
whatever.
has
So,
got
it didn't
to,
work.
maybe grew, but is at this point, Savage Dragon has to be the longest running creator, where the creator continues to do it every issue, right?
I don't know how many 100 issues. Is it 371?
I mean, you started it in
or, I
93,
don't know,
right?
some ridiculous.
So we are
I
in
think so, yeah.
2026. I mean, that's
And he doesn't miss deadlines. He's like a machine. He's just amazing. And I talked to him once in a show in Bellingham, which is where he's from. And he was working on pages there at the table, and he was just next to me. And it's like I was talking to him, and I go, man, it's like, surely you've made your nut, it's like, but he goes, Randy, I'm living the dream. He's like, you just keep cranking it. He's just writing the stories, inking it himself and whatever. It's like, God, it's a lot of work, but he loved doing it. So
One
apparently
Savage Dragon
still
has
is
its own, like, it's not huge, right? It never got gigantic, like some of the other books, but it's got its own fan community. I mean, there was a whole book of just fan stories that somebody published a couple years ago, which is cool.
Yeah.
Obviously with his approval, but I mean that's
what you want. You want to create something, that's going to be revered somewhere by a group of fans, and he does have that, so that's good. All these other people doing their Kickstarters and their characters, and they're trying to get a following, and it's like, hey, Ron Randall's done it. He's done pretty well with Trekker. He's got a good group of people.
Somewhere back there. Right? Yeah.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. I don't want to do it.
So much work.
Go, Ron. You go.
And I had forgotten that Eric was on Doom Patrol because Steve Lytle started it, and Eric was one of the beneficiaries of how slow Steve was. Because Steve gave up lots of books because his art was so beautiful. Yeah,
it was good for covers.
And that's what he ended up doing a lot of because he was too slow to do the interiors.
Yeah, no, I got to ink him a few times. It's great. Yeah, not on interiors, always on covers and commissions and stuff like that. But
this book here,
I think you wrapped it up pretty well.
Two-Face like falls, and I know you're shocked. Yeah, we are. Batman ends up winning. I mean, but sort of winning because Two-Face ends up going back to being Two-Face, and we find out about the mutants.
There's some great panels. I like this. Shot here with Batman and the helicopter, and then where he's shooting the gun, where he shoots the thing, with the.
But they made
on the other page.
Was this issue or the next issue where they make sure they point out he has rubber bullets.
Right.
Yeah,
they're not real.
But I mean, all in all, I read the whole thing.
What do you think? Beat him to a bloody pulp.
I read the whole thing. Okay. My biggest issue with the issues was the whole Batman creating his own army of brown shirts, which I did not like. So basically, if you haven't read this, spoiler, I'm assuming most people have actually read this book. But
how could you?
Yeah, as you go through the issues, you get Carrie, right? She becomes Robin, which is cool. But then Batman needs his own Robin. That's what you find out, right? So you find out that Batman really needs Batman's lonely. This is what you find out. This whole story is about Batman being lonely.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Batman is a sad, lonely old man.
He wants his life back.
Yeah,
he wants his life back.
And then the government is completely inept, which I could understand how in the Reagan era you might think that.
Right.
And then, but the weird part of the story was, so the mutants become like a Batman gang. And then Superman basically like almost kills him because Superman now works for the government, and the government are the bad guys in the story. So Superman works for the government. He gets blown up by a nuclear bomb. He almost dies. Corta Maltese, which I think was the South American fake country for the Batman stories. Didn't Batman and the Outsiders use it?
I don't know. I remember that as a really cool Corta Maltese being a really cool black and white book drawn by a famous, Italian artist or something, or South American. That was really
basically
cool stuff.
Like they are the communists. They're Cuba basically, and so Russia fires a nuclear bomb there. It goes off. It kills all there's an EMP. This book gets a little crazy as it goes on. There's electromagnetic pulse. Superman almost dies because he's trapped under the sun, like the nuclear winter's above him, and so he can't get to the sun. He almost dies. Right. He survives though. He comes back. The government wants him to kill Batman. He does, but doesn't, and Batman ends up surviving, and then mentors his own set of. And I said they're brown shirts, but that is the criticism of the book. Like the criticism of the book is Batman sets himself up as the own fascist dictator of Gotham by the end of the story, which is a little weird.
Yeah, it is. It got really weird. I mean, in the end, yeah. The first one is the only one I
the
really
first one's kind of a
remember.
cool
In the
story.
it got through it, but it was like, yeah, it got out there. It's like I even forgot about the Superman
Yeah,
one.
it
It's
gets
like, good grief.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Superman becoming like a government toady was just weird to me. Like, I didn't like that. I don't think you're supposed to like that. I mean, that's
No,
the
you're
point.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, Frank likes to do that. Likes to bring the government in and have cover-ups. And I mean, look at the Daredevil Born Again thing and the Super Soldier and all that kind of stuff. There's all
A
the
future
government
guest
things
asked
there.
if we could read Daredevil Born Again, and I said I'm a little Frank Millered out right now. Can we wait? Maybe if you come on next year.
Next year.
That's actually a really
Oh
good
yeah,
read.
I'm
That's
sure
that's
is
a good
fantastic one.
compared to this. Yeah. And David Mazzucchelli is, oh my gosh, his art is like to die for. I'm amazed by his work. And if Miller was smart to get somebody that could really draw,
Oh yeah, and
that was awesome.
I will say you got a shot. You got a shout out you didn't even know about. Yeah, our guest next week, Brian Sheridan. I mentioned to him that you were on the show. He goes, "I love Randy Emberlin." Literally, I'm reading it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put me on a good day.
yeah. No, Randy, you're fantastic at
You
shows.
are.
I like Siemens. And so does Judy. Like both of us like. I mean, maybe she likes going to the shows less than I do because there's always the prep for her doing frames and ordering and all that stuff. But we don't do that many shows now. We're cut back to about 4,
Do the
maybe
ones you
5
like.
shows a year.
Yeah.
And that's, but I like still connecting. Right, honey? We're talking about shows, doing shows, and that, we don't, I mean, you don't like them as much as I do, but we still do a few because we have a lot of friends and fans and people that we connect with. And it's still fun to do those shows, maybe do less is what it's thinking.
Well, and I think, we
We're
are. And I was
wrapping
gonna
it up
say,
here.
Where
Don't
can
worry.
they find your work?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, on Instagram is at Randy Emberlin. It's like, that's probably the best because I'm posting for shows and I post a lot of artwork and, before a show, like I did a whole series of the Spider-Man Gallery of Villains back in April because I was going to do that show back in that curated Spider-Man show. What's it called? The Little Giant Show. It used to be called Venom
Oh, cool.
Palooza or something. But I did like 8, I don't know, maybe it was 10 different Spider-Man villains in black and white with marker. And, chose, some of them are full figures, a lot of them are headshots, and then had them framed and, but I posted them as I was doing them and they're available. I haven't tried to just push them to set. I sold a lot of them, but they were nice. I mean, they came out pretty nice and was fun to do. And that's the kind of stuff I like to do. And then, I have a lot of commissions too. People are asking me to do big stuff, like either a recreation or something that has Spider-Man Venom. It's always Spider-Man Venom and Carnage, let's face it, But I go, wow, there's all these other really great villains, It's like Spider-Man has this incredible gallery of, I started writing them down and there was like 25 or something. I was just like, this is like no other. His villains are just, to me, are the greatest ones, So it doesn't, and there's that. Oh yeah, he's got, but yeah, he is unusual beyond belief, but they tried to change him as, everything gets changed. We even did too, but I mean, I haven't watched that Craven movie because I know it's going to be awful, but I'm sorry they ever made that.
I've not watched it.
Stupid, but Craven's great. He's a great character in the Ditko days, he was, and even in the Romita days, I mean, he was still a great character, and the Scorpion was frightening in that first issue. I mean, that was just like amazing character. Mysterio's kind of weird, and Green Goblin's great. He's got the gangland connections, and there's a big mystery, and it just goes on. Doc Ock. I mean, it's just like they go on and on. The villains, Electro, even the Shocker.
Sandman.
It's just like they just keep on coming.
That one of the best
Sandman,
uses
forgot
in movie
about him.
graphics ever. I mean, that villain is really the Sandman.
That's true.
I would say in the first appearance, not as terrifying, but the things you could do art-wise with the Sandman. Yeah.
Right. It was great. Yeah. And Ditko had a great imagination too. He used him well. Yeah. Those are all great. I mean, it's like, and I only did about 10. I'm going to do more. But, you know, at the same time, I'm doing modern stuff too. I love Mandalorian. So I did Mandalorian and Grogu. I did 2 or 3 of those prints, and I'm working more with gray markers and stuff like that, or monochrome colors, maybe single color. I'm not, you know, I'm colorblind, so I don't do a lot of colorful work, but black and white and gray and maybe, you know, monochrome. But, yeah, I do a lot of other stuff now too. I mean, I did some Terminator stuff because people wanted that. So that's what's fun about getting commissions. You go, hey, this will make a great print. It's like, I'm done with this original now. It's like, I get the print, you get the original. It's like, okay. It's like,
We need Dr. Connors, right?
there's still a lot to do. Yes, Dr. Connors, yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great ones. No question. I haven't done the lizard, though. That's one I should
Got to
work
do a
on.
transforming.
I mean, I've drawn him a bunch
Like,
of times.
got to do
right?
Doc Connors transforming into the lizard. Like, that is
Yeah,
so cool.
that'd be
though.
challenging.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
growing an
partial.
arm. It's
Yeah.
like-
you could give him the Hulk face, like from the TV series.
Oh,
You know, where the eyes are turning green and he's
Yeah, right.
transforming, like the arm's starting to grow.
That's cool. And that's another character. I did some Thing and Hulk stuff recently, and I love drawing those in a big Kirby way because that's the, you know, that's the way to do it. It's like you need to make the Hulk look like he weighs, you know, 4,000 pounds. You know, like everything about him weighs, you know, like you couldn't pick up his hand because it's like picking up, you know, a car or something. You know,
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I love doing that kind of stuff. So it's fun. It's fun now to explore things and know that you're not under the pressure to get the whole darn issue done in 2 weeks.
you
know?
have
It's like
fun with it now.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Those days, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can fool around, you know. It's like, in fact, I got one over there on the board. It's a Eric Larsen that a guy got from Eric doesn't do that many shows, but he did it in New York for this guy, and it was, I guess it was supposed to be a pencil sketch, but Eric kind of used a pen and went over it and kind of sketched around, and it's kind of blue line. Anyway, it was kind of a mess, but the pose is great. So this guy goes, Randy, can you make it look like the days when you were inking Eric? And so I had to literally put it in Photoshop and erase a bunch of stuff and clean up lines and make room, you know, and then print it as a really light blue line. So now I can go over it and, you know, I'm looking at, you know, reference of what we did and go over it and kind of insert all of that style into the drawing.
That's
So it's
so
kind of
cool.
fun. You know, it's like, and it is, it's coming out cool. It's going to be good. I made it much bigger than what it was. So it's like, yeah, you got lots of room to fool around. So that's what I do. I do that kind of stuff. In between that and music.
And we
you know,
will
so you
make
gotta do
sure in the
music,
notes
too.
for this podcast that we give a link to Randy's Instagram so you can reach out to Randy if you want to.
Yeah. You know, I have a Facebook too, but all I do with Facebook is I just copy. When I do an Instagram post, I post it at the same time on Facebook. So it only lasts 24 hours. Or
That
whatever,
is
so.
that is very cool.
Anyway.
I see. I think we're about to wrap up. I know we have like one thing to plug, right, Greg?
What's that?
Something about Travis's book. It's like spider cyborgs
Spider
flying from
cyborgs,
outer
yeah.
space and
There's that,
landing
yeah.
on the Earth. And see, Randy, you're not in on the joke, so I mess up the title of Travis's book every single
Oh,
episode. It's like-
Every
Like,
time.
it's
cyborgs,
really
you know,
called
every
it's
time.
really called something like Cyborg: The Return of Alex Rain.
Yes, that is the title.
Yeah, on Kickstarter.
Oh,
yeah. So our friend Travis
Cool.
got you've met Travis before. Travis
Web.
Webb.
What's his last name?
Yeah, he
Webb?
was
Like
the
a spider.
co-writer on Greg's book on the on Starlight.
Starlight.
The author. Yeah, the writer.
Oh,
The
okay.
writer on Starlight.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I knew I knew
Yes.
his name, but I
And,
wasn't putting it together.
he's done some other stuff, but he's been working with Albert Pune's estate, the old cyborg movie from the 90s, the cyberpunk movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
it's the
heard of it. I don't
continuation
think
of
I've
that.
seen it. So, yeah.
And so the Kickstarter's
Okay.
launching soon, so people can go pick that up. And then a future guest too. Bobby's gonna have a Kickstarter up right now, right? Or is that-
Bobby, or you mean
no, Brian.
Brian.
No, not Bobby.
Brian.
Brian has a Kickstarter. I'm messing up people. Brian, who complimented Randy, has a Kickstarter up right now.
Yeah, Nighthawks.
And you'll learn about it next week when he's on the show.
Well,
What's his name? Brian. What's Brian's last name?
Yeah,
Brian?
this is Greg's area.
So-
Brian should. I'm just doing this to
what's
Greg.
Brian's last name?
Brian Sheridan.
Brian Sheridan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, which is
Okay,
ironic. Well,
sure.
the irony,
Okay.
not irony. We paid homage to Brian in the book Starlight. The kids are named the Sheridans, so they the two kids
Oh,
are named the Sheridans. That's their last name.
I've got to read
Oh yeah,
that. I mean, you sent me all that
I'll get
stuff,
you
and I
copies
just
again.
it was online. I don't have obviously it's digital, but I gotta go. Yeah, I wanted. It looked cool. I mean, I flipped through a lot of the artwork.
Like,
It was
Brett
cool.
Woodell does great work. He's a fantastic artist too. So
Well,
like,
this book is called Nighthawks.
So
yeah, and it's a noir story. So very much like when I was reading it when he kicked me over the script and then some of the rough of it, I was like, it feels like just picking up something that you would find on a rack, and just going, oh wow, this is the kind of thing that I want to sit back and
There we go.
read on a just it's a nice black
I
and white
see.
book.
Okay. That is
Yeah.
nice. That's good
So
black
the
and white.
artist he's
That's
working with-
nice. It really trains your
Mhm.
eye to look where you're supposed to look, and
And
There
his-
we go.
that's
the
good.
storytelling is
I like
very good, and it brings you right through. It's going to be a nice run when he gets it all complete. But the first issue's out on Kickstarter
right.
right now. It is. I can tell the listeners right now it is a solid story. They should go back it. But he'll tell us more next week.
So
All right. We'll have to watch. So you do now. This is the 200th
you're on.
episode.
You ended
is that
up
what
on
you said it was? Or
201 because
100?
we bounced you back a couple weeks. But yes,
Okay.
we're in the
Oh, that's
200.
right.
You're on.
Sorry,
you're
I'm
on,
sorry.
I was like,
You're on episode 448,
right.
and we started on episode 247 because Randy, the Legion of Superheroes, first appeared in Adventure Comics 247.
Of course.
So, and of
Of
course
course
we've
you
got
would know that.
200 or so lost episodes when we were just talking to each
Yeah.
other in my international scout, driving back and forth to the Spider's Web and
Yeah.
develop. I had a yellow International Harvester Scout
Huh.
in high school, Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I put it.
Wow.
I was not.
You were cool.
People want those
That's
now,
right.
but
Oh,
and I guess the last plug we have, and then we'll wrap this up, is of course, Greg. You know, if you have a legal problem to solve, Greg, where do you go?
Oh, I think I know where to go.
Where do
You have
you
to
go?
call. You have to call the one and only Jiu-Jitsu lawyer Paul.
Oh, and you, jujitsu
Judicial
lawyer, Paul.
lawyer-
Yeah. So
What?
yeah,
Yes.
Not
Oh,
only
jujitsu
does he
lawyer,
run
Paul.
a law firm called Knight Legal, but he also runs a jiu-jitsu gym.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
on 27th,
All right.
and you go visit it, Randy. It's really cool. There are
He's
Yeah.
Yes, fit.
yes.
He
This is
will
a fit
take you
lawyer.
to the take
He
you to the
doesn't need
mats.
to end up. He doesn't need to end up at the bottom
No,
of the
yeah.
sea, like with it.
yes.
Mm-mm.
He will
Bottom of the
defeat
sea.
your lawyer. He will defeat the other lawyer with an argument or make them tap out. Right? It works
Okay.
both ways. And so
Both ways.
certified martial arts right
Okay.
on, Randy, you'd be familiar with this. It's right on Jackson/Bridgeport at 27th. If you just turn left there before the bridge.
Yeah.
And
really?
there's really cool Dragon Ball Z murals on the wall.
It looks amazing.
And
All right.
so, yeah, and you can call him, especially if you have an employment law issue, because he
Oh,
does,
yeah.
Randy, this guy, he doesn't support big insurance companies and stuff like that, or the
Mm-mm.
bad guys.
No way.
He supports
Okay,
people that,
good.
like, when their employer's trying to cheat them, and yeah.
The underdog.
And you can call him at 253-656-4475 and
Oh,
talk
what was
to
that number
Kelly
again?
and get a meeting. It's 253-656-4475.
Oh,
So
that's the number to call
There you go.
when you need
that's the
Paul.
number to call. Yeah. So Randy, yeah,
All
hopefully
right.
you never need Paul when you're in Washington State. But
No,
Or-
if you don't
or-
want that, I mean,
Yeah.
I hope-
Or California,
Sorry. Or California. He is licensed in California. That is true.
but not in
Oh,
Oregon.
That's great.
Yet.
Yeah.
But not in Oregon.
So if
All right.
your employer's
All right,
discriminating
well-
against you and you don't know why, well, call Paul and he'll see if he can straighten them out.
Armbar.
Well, I wish I had something for you to advertise for me, but all I have to do, I have to advertise that
Okay.
my wife wants me to go eat dinner. So it's
That's
All
where we
right.
are
Well,
right now.
I'll hit the stop button right now, and then when I hit that stop button, everybody stay here for like a minute so those videos can upload, and we'll be done. And that's a perfect way to end the podcast, is to tell everybody about the Inside Baseball podcasting. So, yeah, bye everyone. Thank you so much, Randy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well,